Hello family. So the reason we haven't had any updates on the construction site is because the fundi who's supposed to be doing the roof had an emergency and we had to stop for a few days for him to deal with the emergency before we can resume work. Last week we felled some trees and all the lumber that we got from the tree have been lying down here, and today we are loading them onto the lorry to deliver them at the site because the work begins tomorrow. So probably by the end of next week we're going to have a roof over our heads. It's by luck that we decided to remove them today because the lower ones were already being eaten by termites, and any delay could have caused such a big damage to the wood. Now that I have a means of transport, I'm also carrying all the sawdust I collected with me, which I'm going to use in my garden, and maybe when I start keeping chicken, then I can use it also in the chicken coop. I learned to sew bags using my fingers in our potato fields. We usually in a hurry and don't have to waste any time, so our fingers act as the needles. The year is coming to an end, and I'd written down all the things I wanted done before the year ends, and I realized most of them are not done. So I'm really looking forward to doing this roof because it is one of those things I really wanted to do. So I'm just checking boxes, and I hope by the end of this week I'm going to check this box of the roof. I have damaged part of the lawn where the wood was lying, but I know in just a few days it's gonna grow back. I think the next thing I'm going to do after fixing the roof is creating access to the house or into the compound, because it's quite a tedious job of loading at the gate, then carrying them again to the house. The weather is still quite moody and it looks like it's gonna rain any minute now. So we really have to hurry up. And with the heavy rains, the grass is growing pretty fast. Looks like next week we're gonna have to cut it again. This time I don't want to leave it to be very tall because it's quite a challenge cutting it when it's overgrown. So guys, how far are you with your 2023 bucket list? I know I'll not be able to accomplish everything I wanted to accomplish this year, but I'm glad I have done a few of them. And we will be trying again next year, so there's no rush. Everything happens at God's pace and God's time. In this rainy weather, the village roads are quite muddy, some are even impassable, so you don't want to be stepping out all the time to replenish stock. So I've just checked in at our village supermarket. So this is where we buy most of the basic things we use at home, but there are those things we can't find here. So I always have to order from the nearest cities and then have them delivered by some courier services. So did you know that at your grocery store, the oldest stocks are usually at the front and the newest at the back? So it's called the FIFO rule, if I can remember my days in the corporate world. And FIFO just means first in, first out. So when shopping, always pick from the back. If you can't read the expiry date, just always dig at the back. That's the secret, especially when dealing with fast-moving consumer goods. Things are thick here. Times are really tough for most Kenyans. Most of our goods have doubled in the prices from the prices we had last year same time. So that's a lot of money, and then we have to really dig deeper into our pockets to get our grocery. I'll take for example sugar. This is 2 kilograms of sugar. Each pack costs 220 shillings last year same time, but now they're at 440. So that's definitely a double. My only hope is that things are going to improve in the coming year, because this is so draining on us. So you can imagine shopping that would have cost you about 10,000 is going to cost you 20,000. And nobody bothered to give you a raise at your workplace. And someone here just decided to arrange the toothpaste upside down. In my days, someone would be fired for this. So I've been watching international news, and I realize it's not only Kenyans who are hurting economically, but even in other parts of the world. Please let me know, wherever you are, what is the cost of living like? Is this year better than last year or worse than last year? I'd really love to know. I'm back home again, and the rain is just about to fall. It's also evening. So we had our clothes outside. It's the third day we are airing these clothes to dry, and they still didn't dry. The weather's been quite moody. The light ones dried, but the heavy ones haven't dried completely, so looks like we're gonna try again tomorrow. And it's quite cold out here. The weather is calling for some hot chocolate. So I've been looking up some interesting things to do in cold weather, and I realized most people really love baking in cold weather. So I've found a few recipes I really want to try. And today I'm just going to make some cookies for our evening tea. I like to light the candle in the kitchen on cold rainy days because it brings some warmth into our atmosphere and makes our surroundings very cozy. So I'm making quite a simple recipe of cookies today. It involves just 4 ingredients. There's butter, sugar, baking powder, and wheat flour. Oh, and just 1 egg. So first we're going to mix the butter and sugar until smooth. Lexi is always helping out with cooking. She really enjoys doing it. So meanwhile, I'm going to check on our ghee. We are making another batch of ghee, and it's almost there. I just mixed the baking powder and the all-purpose flour before adding it to the paste. So I'm going to knead it until all the ingredients are mixed together. And forgive me for this, I should have added the egg much earlier, but I skipped that bit, so I just added the egg and it's still fine. So next we are pinching the dough and making balls, small balls that would give us a good size of cookies. And we are arranging them on the baking tray where we will press them and give them the desired patterns we want on them. There are different designs of patterns we can have on our cookies. Those tools are available out there, but we don't have, so I'm just going to use a fork to give it the desired designs. They don't have the perfect shape and designs, but we still have some very good cookies here. It's always about the taste. Our cookies are ready and they look really beautiful and they smell really nice. So we are going to have it with some hot tea on this cold evening. Our cookies are so crunchy, just the way we wanted them. Lexi doesn't like the very soft cookies, so she insisted they be crunchy. So if you want to achieve the crunchiness, I think you just have to make your dough a bit hard. Not really hard, but not too soft. So like the old times, evening tea is still a thing here. We do it every day. It's kind of our mid-evening routine. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next. Bye-bye.